someone to represent you, because you're always dealing with, you know, the seller's agent's obviously representing the seller, and we've sold properties before, and you know that they're not doing the buyers any favours. So yeah, you're right, it makes sense.
Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer.
Hi guys, my name is Rachael Cruz, and we're standing inside Orangetheory Fitness at Potts Point. The reason why we're here is because I really just wanted to acknowledge my recent clients, Craig and Drew, who happen to be the owners of this very successful establishment. We've just had I've really enjoyed working with these two amazing gentlemen, and just wanted to let you say hello and share a little bit about our story.
Thanks. I'm Craig and this is Drew.
Hello.
We've been working with Rachael for just under 3 months now. We engaged her to help us buy a home, as we've got 2 young daughters and we needed to move and expand our living space. And we were recently successful. Just a couple of weeks ago we purchased our home and moving in the new year, which we're very excited about. And it's been a great journey working with Rachael, so happy to share more about that.
We're here in the studio. Just wanted to really share a little bit more about the journey. Me being a buyer's agent in the industry for many years, but I always like to get curious about the client's perspective and hear from their side. So I thought I would take this opportunity to delve into a couple of questions. Hopefully it's relevant. Craig and Drew, we were introduced by a mutual contact. Do you mind me asking, in terms of what actually, what did anything happen particularly? Was there a situation that unfolded that prompted you to, engage the idea of using a buyer's agent?
Children, multiple businesses, no time.
Oh.
I think there's a few things which probably influenced our decision to do it. Number one, we've lived in the US before, and we have a friend who's in real estate over there. It's very common practice to have buyer's agents over there, and we always thought, why don't they do that here? It makes so much sense. The other side of it is, running our own businesses, you make some big decisions, and every time you make big decisions or financial decisions in business, you always seek the advice of someone who's an expert in their field, and you happily pay those fees. So this is a big buying decision in our personal lives, so it seems crazy that you wouldn't actually engage the assistance of an expert.
Someone to represent you, because you're always dealing with, the seller's agent's obviously representing the seller, and we've sold properties before, and you know that they're not doing the buyers any favours. So yeah, you're right, it makes sense.
Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer. Plus, we've got 2 young kids. We're really busy with our businesses, and we didn't have time or the desire to become experts in property in the areas that we wanted to look in.
People say,
or give up our weekends.
Properties. I'm like, I don't have time to look at 10.
Yeah.
I can't remember when we first caught up. Did you guys spend a bit of time trying to look?
Not at all.
We didn't. Yeah, no, didn't even get around to that.
No, we'd spent time talking about getting a buyer's agent. I'd had an introduction to another buyer's agent before, but we weren't ready to buy.
Yeah.
And so when we were getting closer, we spoke to a friend of ours who then referred us on to you.
And I remember in our first meeting, and I really want to feel safe to be very honest. I'd be curious to know, like, when we were just engaging, did you have any concerns or doubts?
About
working together? Yeah.
No, I think the fact that you came recommended to us.
You came to our office at a time that was convenient to us, which was obviously difficult to arrange.
And I was a bit naive too. I didn't realise that there were, buyer's agents specialised in certain areas, and so I think that was quite lucky that I did ask my friend who sort of was within the industry who recommended you, because he knew that you specialised in that area.
In the particular patches we were looking.
Yeah, so obviously that's turned out to be invaluable from my perspective. I think also you're very calming, Rachael.
Oh.
Yes, you're a very good listener, and I think you immediately set a very relaxed,
That's good to know.
calm. Set us up for a very relaxed, calm relationship, and trusting as well.
And you were able to read our dynamic as well, which is obviously, 2 very Two very headstrong personalities.
I wouldn't say headstrong. Well, I work with couples a lot, and there's
Impulsive.
always
Stubborn.
steady.
Thank you.
There we
Yes,
go.
yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
In terms of when I meet with clients for the first time, you know, there's obviously, it's a big decision. It's a huge amount of trust, and I guess, yeah, it is trust and confidence that, is this the right fit to work together? And I think a huge objection is typically, if I do come up against an objection, it's normally about the fee. You know, you've never used a buyer's agent before.
Right.
But we've gone through the motions together now. Do you mind me asking, based on your experience, well, actually, first, did you have any objections with my fee? And then, looking back now, any views on that?
I personally didn't have any objections. I think maybe I've been conditioned by, you know, having to spend big sums of, not big sums, sorry,
No.
correction. What might be perceived as big sums of money for some, you know, it's like a muscle that you exercise in business, and you kind of get a bit lax about it, which maybe is not a good thing. But I also could put into perspective the fee in reality is you know, being a small percentage of the total price of the property. But I feel like I could easily have spent that amount of money and more by either making a mistake and buying the wrong property, or overpaying for a property because I became emotionally attached to it, and Drew acted impulsively.
Yeah.
So to me, I can really justify it. I think I don't think it is expensive. I think it's all relative to the value that you get out of it. Plus, yeah.
I agree. I think, like I was saying to you off camera before, I think we would have ended up probably we certainly wouldn't have had access to the opportunities that you presented us. We just wouldn't even know about them, for one. So that was quite useful. But if we were factoring the value of our time in trying to find a property ourselves, I dare say it would have, if you actually charged out those hours, we would have spent more, and probably paid more. So financially, we would have been a lot worse off.
And I think, like, when you're looking for that, you know, buying an investment property is very different to buying a future home, and also factoring in all the short-term and long-term, you know, needs. I kept thinking, you know, this one's going to be too much work for the short term, and it was really important to factor that in with the decision. So it's always balancing all the requirements, which
changed, and you helped us actually identify things that we thought I think that first meeting, what we said we wanted was our laundry list, and what we ended up figuring out what we needed through your help was quite different.
Quite different, yeah. Which was, I don't know if we would have got, well, we may have got to that point ourselves, but it probably would have taken us a year or a year and a half.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, completely, yeah.
In a butter guitar, but
no. I think too, if you were to look, I think people make the mistake, they might look at the fee as a dollar value that they're paying right now for a service, which is, I think, the completely incorrect way to look at it. You need to think about it as, what if you were to overpay that in a property, and all the time that you have to spend looking at and making sure you're making a really good decision, so there is value in your asset and you're not missing something big like location or exposure, etc.
I really enjoyed refining the brief. I'm not sure if you enjoyed it, but I was just
definitely. The outcome is perfect.
When I first, understood what were the key requirements, and things they're always fluid, and you have to match the market conditions and recalibrate. Throughout our journey, do you mind me asking, did anything surprise you guys throughout the process, or anything you learned that was interesting?
I would say off the bat, just how the market actually works. Like, obviously, having sold a property before, the sort of narrative that is being put out by the seller's agent, but just seeing how, these properties become available, as I said, through your access to all of your contacts, being able to show us properties that might be coming onto the market, and due to a certain situation for that particular vendor, they might be more motivated to sell. Didn't even know those sorts of opportunities were there. Like, well, my only exposure was, okay, you go into domain or realestate.com and you look and you go, you sign in, give your details. yeah, and so also not having to go through that process, just rocking up at each house and going, we're with Rachael, and they're like, come on in. So that was some things I learnt.
Yeah, I think I mean, it didn't surprise me, but I think that was one of the things which I enjoyed the most, is that it was a lot less stressful because you didn't feel like you had to play a game or someone was trying to play a game on you, because I don't think the agents even do that with you too much, except for, for some friendly
banter here and there.
just because they know that you're credible and your clients are credible, so that made it a really nice experience rather than, oh, here we go again.
I'd say that too. I liked that part of it.
I think might be digressing here, but I think a big part of what I enjoy about doing my role is that I think people forget that vendors are also people.
Yeah.
Real estate agents are people, and of course buyers are people. And I think I just think that when you bring the humanity back to things, it makes it so much more simple. And it's a genuine joy to be working with people like you. I think working together, did you feel, because I always think it's about the right client for the service. It's I'm the first to say it's not for everyone. You guys are obviously very successful entrepreneurs, family people. You've very busy lives, and you've bought property before, so very intelligent, savvy. Do you think, based on I guess your experience and everything we've been through together, would you use a buyer's agent again, or?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you use it even though you've had that experience and you're probably more educated now in the process?
You still wouldn't have access to those off-market opportunities. I don't have a relationship with 50 different agents that I wouldn't know what the right value is. I wouldn't know if I was overpaying. That's not my area of expertise, so absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't think we could have built up that level of education over a 3-month period too, I think. Plus, definitely. I would definitely use an agent, a buyer's agent again. Yeah, absolutely. I think whether it was another home for me, an investment property, whatever it might be, I would, if there was one available that had the expertise and the local knowledge in that area, I would most certainly engage their services.
It goes back to what you said. Why you for every other type of large transaction, you're actually getting expertise. Why, for the largest purchase, you just go it alone? It does seem a little bit weird. It would be good if the market was a little more like American, where the seller's fee was a little bit lower.
Yes.
So they split the transaction. What did they do, 2 and 2 or something? But anyway,
I think that,
hopefully the market will move a little bit more towards that here as well.
Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you so much. I'm a little bit shy now. But was there anything else you wanted to share, give advice on?
Well, the outcome is fantastic. I'm super excited. Just
not excited about the move, but very excited. Can you help us move?
I'm very happy.
I think it's just been a pleasurable experience the whole way through. And for me personally, I know Drew got a bit anxious at certain times, but for me, I just was so stress-free because I knew that we're in good hands. So
I got anxious once.
Yeah.
And it was just right when it was
it's always
those hours leading up to the transaction going ahead or not or whatever. It was just,
Yeah, it was nice having a filter between any emotions that we had around a property and the buying process, because it helped me keep a little bit of distance, and also the confidence that if a property that we really loved didn't work out for us, there's always another opportunity. Yeah. So I found it really enjoyable.
Same. Yeah.
And I think also I just loved working with you. You're a pleasure. I think you really listened to us and took the time to get to know us really well, and even when we weren't probably articulating very well maybe what we didn't like about a property, I think you're getting a really good understanding and showing us properties that did fit the bill.
That's why I love buying homes. It's a very special stage of your lives, and I'm very honoured, so thank you again.
Thank you.
So guys, thank you. Craig and Drew and Rachael, over and out.